Hey guys, it's your boy Papa here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Asus ROG Strix X370F gaming motherboard, the AMD Ryzen 7 1700X, paired up with G.Skill Trident Z RGB at 3000 megahertz. I'll go further into why I went with 3000 instead of 3200 in this video, but I want to let you guys know what my experience is with this trio for about the past month. So without further ado, let's dig in. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is the BIOS, and this is on the latest version of 8.10, which they added. If you go over to advanced, if you go over to your advanced tab, they added the AMD CBS options now. And this allows you to do the core performance boost, memory interleaving, your C-state control, your Zen common options, and so on. But to keep things simple, I need to have stability because of running the YouTube channel, making the game videos, rendering videos in Vegas, you know, that take a half hour long, banging on the processor. So stability is the most important thing to me. Okay, if you guys are looking for a good, solid as a rock, stable overclock using the Asus ROG Strix X370 Gaming F, or the X370F gaming motherboard, sorry, then up here on the AI overclock tuner, set it. Now this is with the G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM, and mine is 3000, not 3200, and the reason that is, and it's CL16. The reason that I went with the 3000 is because it's not going to make a damn bit of difference in gaming between 3000 and 3200. Gaming's the most important for me, besides, you know, like I said, stability. So it didn't make a difference to me, and it was a $40 price difference between 3000 and 3200 for same CL speeds and everything, or clocks. So anyways, DLCP1. Then I set the DLCP for 3000, which it's going to run it at 2933. You can see right now it's at 2933, 1.36 volts. It's 16 gigabytes, so I only have 2 sticks. I'm not sure how it works in a 4-stick configuration. So the APU frequency is, I mean, you just set the DLCP1 and it's going to set everything for you. And then you just want to come down to where you have your computer core ratio and bump that up to 38. That's going to put your CPU speed at 3.8 gigahertz. This is for the Ryzen 1700X. If you guys are using a 1700 or 1600, then you know you might not want to go that high. I'm not sure. 3.8 is a mild overclock. Temps are really good on this. I know it says 50 right now, but it's not 50. It's actually only 30 because of the 20-degree offset, and it's at 1.36 volts. So once you set the DLCP1, then just come on down. Don't worry about setting anything else. Just leave your CPU voltage on auto. This is with a H100i version 2 water cooler. So if you guys don't have a water cooler for your on air, you may want to fool with your voltage and start at, like, you know, 1.35, and then, you know, see how it's going. If it's not stable, bump your voltage up some. And but I try to stay out of the DigiPlus VRM options because you'll run into a lot of stability issues in there, or they can help you get stability by raising some settings in there, but the problem is heat's going to come with it. So like I said, I'm not looking for an extreme overclock. I just wanted something that's very stable, and I've run these settings right here for a month without no crashes. This is super stable, guys. So again, DLCP1. Okay, don't worry about your RAM timings. It'll set everything for you. If you go down here to DRAM timing control, everything's already going to be set. Mine, like I said, mine's CL16, so it's 16, 18, 18. Okay, and then don't worry about your computer voltage. Like I said, if you're on the 1700X, it's going to work perfect for you, especially if you're on water. And then the DRAM voltage, I always bump it up. It's defaulted to 1.35. I bump it up 0.1 to 1.36 just for you know, the added little bit of stability in case there's any kind of problem with it. There's probably not at 1.35. I just bump it up just to be sure. So that's it for the settings on the BIOS, guys. Like I said, super simple overclock. DOCP1, set your RAM. If you got 3200, I guess set it to 3200 on the DOCP. Like I said, I have mine at 3000, 16, 18, 18, 18. And then the memory frequency, have it set to 2933. The CPU core ratios at 38. Leave your computer voltage on auto. Set your DRAM voltage to 1.36. You're going to be solid as a rock, guys. Alright, next we'll go ahead and move on to some benchmark scores on the desktop. Alright guys, before we go to the desktop, I got the Asus Aura controls pulled up right now. I know a lot of people have had issues with the G.Skill Trident Z RGB. As you can see, mine are definitely not set to a stock rainbow effect. I have them set on white to match with my fans and my case lighting, my custom Ryzen lighting that I did up front here. So anyways, what I wanted to do is just kind of show you guys a proof video that this does work. So if I want to put them on the breathing effect, just hit apply. And now you can see they're going into the breathing effect. If we want to do the color cycle, I've already done a video on all the different effects, but I just want to show you guys that it is responsive. They do work. People that are having problems with them are probably don't have something set up right in their BIOS or with the Asus Aura software. Just make sure that you are updated to the latest version, because it does of the Aura control software, because it does add stability, guys, and compatibility with different hardware also. So these are all the different effects that it can go through, and it can do all the different color cycling too, and the temperature, and even the music one works also. So but I just have mine set to static. That's just the way I like mine. So but anyways, once you're done setting it, you just hit X and close it down, and next time you start up your computer, they will default back. They'll turn off. Okay, they'll turn off when you turn off your computer. When you turn back on your computer and you get into the desktop, the actual Asus Aura software will start, and it will set your RAM back to the color settings that you had it set to, or whatever kind of effect that you had set up. Okay, so I've done a lot of benchmarking and stuff with these settings, so I can go ahead and run a few, and I'll go ahead and switch over to screen capture for that. Okay guys, we're back over to the desktop now, and should sound better because we're using the blue snowball mic now. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up some couple of quick benchmarks just to show you guys what kind of scores we're getting. And I also have MSI Afterburner going with the Riva Tuner Statistics server, so that I can show you guys that, well, that it is running at the 3.8 gigahertz on all 16 cores. So you can see right here in the CPU Z, this is just the ROG skin version of it, that we're right at 3.8 gigahertz, and you can see that the memory is running at the 16, 18, 18. And let's see here, if we go over to the SPD, mine are in slot 2 and slot 4. You can see that it will run up to 3000 megahertz right here, and that would be at the 1.36. But you can see the Northboard frequency here, so it's they're running at about, if you double that up because it's a DDR, then you're looking at the 2933, somewhere right around in there. So okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and might as well just run a bench on the processor right now. and we can see how it stacks up with other Ryzens and also some Intels. Okay, so the benchmarks run. We'll go ahead to submit and compare now. Just going to pop open the browser where we can compare our scores to other scores. So, okay, here's our score, and like I said, this is not an extreme overclock, guys. This is for stability. Alright, and you can see everything's verified here, what we ran at, what the temperature was, so on and so forth. Do not believe any temperature except for Ryzen Master right now. It's the only reliable temperature. Okay, so here we are. This is my score with the Ryzen 7 1700X. This is on single thread. We scored at 414, which is just a little bit under a i5 6600, and probably about 40 points under the i7 7700, and about 80 points below the i7 7700K. You can see that we scored 15 points higher than the 1800X, and quite a bit more than the 1600X, and way more than the 1700X. So, and then it just goes on down the line. Here's the 1600, the 1700, and so on. Okay, so there's the scores for that on single thread. Now multi-threading, this is the 1700X. We outscored the 1800X. I've had it overclocked better to where you can get just underneath the 6950X here, scoring about 4900 or so, but like I said, this is not an overclock to be pushing it. This is for stability. So this is the 1700 3905. We scored at 4558. The 1800X scored at 4547, so we still beat it out. So you know, you're saving some money there, scoring a little bit higher if you guys go with the 1700X. And you can see from the 1700, you're looking at, I mean, from the 1700X over with just a slight overclock to 3.8, you know, nothing drastic. And the 1800X, the scores are practically identical, guys. But to go from the 1700X to, or I'm sorry, the 1700 to where the 1700X is overclocked, you're looking at about a 600 point difference. So that's actually quite a bit. That's pretty substantial. So if you're debating on whether to get the 1700 or 1700X, I would go ahead and opt for the 1700X. I would not go for the 1800X because you're going to get practically identical performance as the 1700X. Okay, so we can go in and run a Cinebench score real quick. Benchmark, run a Cinebench benchmark, and we're just going to do it on the CPU. I'm not going to do a single thread because it takes forever, so we'll just do this. See how we score on that. They ain't usually around 1500 mark, somewhere around there. I haven't ran this a whole lot of times. But you can see through all this testing that this is really stable, guys. Usually if you want to see if you're going to crash, then go run Cinebench and it'll let you know pretty quick. So we scored at 1501. Like I said, not the highest score. I've definitely had some up in the 1600s and stuff, but that's on, you know, extreme overclocking, and you're going to have to be on, probably on water to get those kind of scores, or a really good air cooler. So I'm not going to do graphics benchmarks because I've, you know, got a bunch of those on my channel if you guys want to see those. So I guess that will about cover it for this video. So now I just want to talk to you guys about what my experience has been with the Ryzen. That was the whole point of this video. For my first 30 days with it, was an absolute disaster when I first got it. I moved from the FX 8370 on a Asus 970 Pro Gaming Aura. I had Crucial Ballistics tactical tracers on that, so I did have some experience with LEDs on the RAM. as well as the Aura software. So I was already pretty experienced with that, and some common problems that you might run across. So temperatures, guys. Don't, like I said, don't believe any software that you have. I'm going to pull up my Corsair link here. You're going to see that it says that my package temperature is 41.9 degrees Celsius. And now I'm going to pull up the Ryzen Master just to monitor the temps. I don't use Ryzen Master to do an overclock. I've tried it and I just didn't have any luck with it. So you can see we're at 3.8. Now if you look here, this is the 20-degree offset that I was telling you guys about. Corsair Link reports it as 44 degrees. Ryzen Master has the correct temperature of 24 degrees, which is the right temperature that it is idling, okay? So that's something to definitely keep in mind, guys, okay? Please keep that in mind, because you're going to be thinking, man, this thing's running hot, and I'm barely even overclocked. That's not the case at all, guys. So just keep that in mind. Only use Ryzen Master to monitor your temps unless a software specifically states it, that that they have worked this out. AMD specifically sent out a email to the big time reviewers and testers and stuff, and let them know that there is a 20-degree offset. So you guys need to be looking out for that. And the reason that they did that is because it's a whole new architecture, and they wanted people's fans to be ramping up during overclocks, just to make sure that they were being cooled to the maximum possible. So if the motherboard, the sensors and everything are indicating that it's 20 degrees hotter than what it really is, then it's going to ramp up your fans and keep it cooler. So kind of a strange thing to do, and not really wide known about it, except for, like I said, the big time reviewers and stuff. So please keep an eye on that, okay? If you guys do all these settings that I did in the BIOS, your temperature is going to be just fine. Like I said, I am on the Corsair H100i version 2. I do have mine in a push-pull configuration with 4 fans, so that does help with it some. For you guys that are on air, try out these settings. Let me know what the temperatures are. But like I said, don't go off your motherboard temperatures, HWinfo 64, any of those temperature sensors that are coming off your motherboard. I wouldn't trust anything, the Corsair Link, any of that. Just use Ryzen Master just to monitor your package temperature, and I would go off of that. So of course, you can, if you guys want to, you can go over to CPU ID, and you can go over here to bench. And I don't want to do this while I'm recording, because it puts a 100% full strain on every core, so it'll probably mess up the recording, or at least pause it until I got done, which doesn't prove any point. So what I would do, if you guys are really wanting to test your temperatures in a quick way, is just go over to your open up CPU-Z, and then go into Ryzen Master, and just have them right next to each other here. So you got your temperature here, and then you can just go over to bench, and instead of doing bench computer here, just do stress computer, and it's going to put 100% full stress on all 16 cores, and let it run for a little while. You're really not going to be able to do much else on your computer, because like I said, it uses all of it. So just wait till it gets, it's not on a timer, it doesn't get done. So once you hit the stress CPU, you're either going to have to close the program, or you're going to have to hit the stop the stress test right here. But when you do either one, then it'll go ahead and bring your cores back down to normal. So okay guys, I know this has been kind of a lengthy video, but I just wanted to share my experience with you guys. I did have some trouble with the G.Skill Trident Z RGB when I first got it. Like I said, make sure that you guys update to the latest version of the Aura software. It can be found on the website for the motherboard. You can get the latest version on there. Always make sure you're running the latest version of anything that has to do with the RGB, because and also think about the other RGB that you may have in your system controlled through a different software. There is a lot of conflicts with that. Check with, you know, both or two or three that you're using, different softwares, and make sure that they're all compatible with each other. And if they're not, then, you know, the only way they're ever going to know, guys, is if we contact them. So get in contact with them and see if they can patch it to work with the different software. You'd be surprised, some of these places are pretty responsive. So it's just a quick email to let them know that, hey, your software is conflicting with this other one. Is there something we can do to patch this to make them both work in conjunction with one another? So besides that, make sure that you get get all the latest stuff for the motherboard on the website, and make sure I guess that's about it, guys. Really, I just don't. My experience has been really good. I got it sorted out really quick. Update your BIOS. That's what I was going to say. Update your BIOS, because the 809 BIOS added stability. So it didn't really say what they added stability for, just that it is stability. So if it adds stability, you should update the BIOS. In 810, they added the CBS options, which gives you more overclocking options, you know, for your core boost and stuff like that. So if you guys are looking to dig deeper into an overclock to get past this 3.8 to go to 3.9, 4.0, 4.1, you're going to need those options. So definitely upgrade to the 810 BIOS. I'm running them because I always like to get on the latest version of the BIOS and run tests and see how stability is and performance as compared to the previous version of the BIOS. So if you guys aren't already, sub to the channel, like this video to help spread some love for my channel and get my name out there. And like I said, make sure you guys sub and keep checking back, because every time they release a new revision for this BIOS or anything changes with the AGESA code or anything like that, I will be updating, guys. Alright, peace out. Thanks for watching.